Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like I'm announcing the circus. Hey, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a third person that we wanted to give an award to this morning, and she's been able to attend now. Coming into the afternoon program, I'd like to have you focus your attention on our president, Ed Shackelford, for this important recognition award.
Gretchen Hammer to come up.
Gretchen Hammer.
Okay, thank you one and all. Gretchen is in charge of the Medicaid for the state of Colorado, which is a huge budget. And I just was struck by that. This is a quote from our new Secretary of Housing and Urban Development at the national level. And he said, Mrs. HUD, which is nowhere near as complex as Medicaid. This is more complexity than any of the brain surgery I've ever done. And that's Ben Carson, U.S. House Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, and retired neurosurgeon on running the agency. So at any rate, that's what we deal with some of these programs that seem so simple. And here's what we have for her. For Gretchen Hammer, for her leadership in administrating the Medicaid programs for Colorado and increasingly outreach and communication with the senior community stakeholders. This is greatly valued and will have long-term benefits. With her leadership and commitment, the department and staff have, with grace and dignity, displayed extensive, detailed understanding of the very complex program and dedication to continued improvement. And I can tell you, this is, for all of you who might be on Medicaid one of these days, and anyone that goes to a nursing home, this is the lady that will be paying for it.
Not even picking up anything. But channel one, turn it up a little bit.
I'm glad you all got something to eat. I guess some people did not, and I hope it wasn't too many. How many people did not get to eat?
No.
One. Me. How many meals? And I've already told you about that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a little open discussion. We have mics that we can share and get an open discussion on some of the things that you feel we need to be addressing here in the legislature for the rest of this session. As you know, just to go through a little bit of that right now, on Monday, we had the governor's office and the legislative group release their budget. And for all of you out there who want to know what happens when the state has a lot of money, this is the most money I've ever seen the state have. So ask them why they're not spending it on you. The budget process starts with this revenue projection. It's not that they have them all consecutive all the way through, but then we get into the long bill process, and then the House and the Senate start to debate just how this money is going to be spent. We have some of our key legislators here from the Legislative Caucus, and I want to talk to you about that real briefly before I introduce you to Karen Brown, who's the chair of SAFCA. It means more to the senior community to have a caucus, a legislative caucus, with our leaders looking at all of the issues that you want them to look at in order to determine how we can go and proceed to get some victories for all of you. Having this legislative caucus, I think, is just absolutely key. We've been working on it for a long time. My thanks, our thanks, to Karen Brown and SAFCA for making this happen. And of course, the legislative caucus for attending and supporting seniors. Ladies and gentlemen, Karen Brown.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, bright light. Okay. I'm going to stand over here. I am going to take just a minute to offer just a very, very brief introduction to each one of our co-chairs of the Legislative Caucus on Aging. And I'm also going to ask them to offer 1 minute, and I'm not going to time you, 1 minute each, kind of as to your rationale and recognition of aging issues and why you chose to be co-chair of the Aging Caucus. And part of the reason I'm going to limit your time is we have 250 people here who are interested in asking us questions and delving into the topics that are most important. So I'm going to start with Representative Janal. She is from Fort Collins. She has a work history in healthcare as a reproductive endocrinologist. She is the chair of the Public Healthcare and Human Services Committee and a member of Transportation and Energy Committees. And if I get something wrong, correct it as I go on. I will then introduce Representative Beckman, who is from Arapahoe County, and if her website is accurate, has a work history in business and government, including having served as a county commissioner. She serves on the following committees, including appropriations, health insurance and environment, finance, public health care, and human services. Senator Todd is from Arapahoe County area. She has worked as a teacher. She's now retired from teaching. She serves on the following committees, including education, joint technology, legislative audit, transportation committee. And our fourth co-chair is Senator Martinez Jimenez from Adams County, has worked as an educator. She serves as the chair of the local government and statutory revision committee, vice chair of health and human services, and joint technology committee. So I'm going to let Representative Janal correct me.
Does that count for my minute?
That's your minute.
Thank you. I know I have a minute, and I'm State Representative Joanne Janal. I represent House District 52. That's the eastern half of Fort Collins. And I am the chair of Health, Insurance, and Environment. I also serve on Public Health and Human Services and also on Transportation and Energy. And the reason why I wanted to be in this senior caucus, which I thought was very important, is because not only do I have this color hair, believe it or not, it was blonde when I first started 6 years ago, not really. But one of the biggest reasons is that we are going to be the largest population in age in the next couple of years across this state. We are there. We are it. So we need a voice, and we didn't have a senior caucus. And my colleagues and I, who I'm proud to be on committee with, are there too. But that's why, and plus there's so many issues that we're facing as seniors. Housing, healthcare. Healthcare is number one. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And I will always fight to help with senior causes in regards to lowering the cost of prescription drugs. That's one of my biggest things that I will try to do and continue to do in the future. So
Thank you.
Over a minute, right?
Over a minute.
Right,
We'll give that extra 70 seconds to
Yes, we will talk more about Representative Janal and pharmaceutical prices and transparency in this venue today. But let's continue to meet the legislators.
Yes, if we could get Representative Beckman next, that'd be great.
Thank you all for lunch. It's great to be here. I was Susan Beckman, House District 38, so that's Littleton and Centennial. I was a county commissioner for 12 years, and in my work as a county commissioner, I was very involved in the Denver Regional Council of Government and Aging Organizations. And through Arapahoe County, we had a lot of homemaker services, just really working hard to try to keep people in their home. And we worked with Littleton Meals on Wheels and Rotary Hands Across America, and just got to really love in the community the people who work to help seniors stay in their home. My district, as I walk my district, has a lot of people that have lived in their home for 30, 40 years. And they are struggling with the cost and how expensive it is to live in Colorado because they are on limited income. And so that's why I jumped into this senior caucus. I thought this was an opportunity to really watch the legislation that is coming through the state capitol to make sure that it doesn't increase your costs, and also that you have a good quality of life, because it's a great place Colorado is, and it should be very welcoming to seniors.
And if you could just pass the mic to Senator contact information.
Thank you all. It's great to be with you. I'm Senator Nancy Todd from the great city of Aurora. And this is my 14th year down at the Capitol. I actually served in the House for 8 years before I joined the Senate. And before that, I was a teacher in Cherry Creek for 25 years. So I think one of the main reasons that I have really enjoyed and become involved with aging population issues is because we're getting there. We're all getting there. And I think one of the most important things that we look at is that we have your voice and that we have your experience. So when we talk about not them and us, but we talk about all of us, those are the issues that we need to be concerned with. I think having strong, independent living opportunities for all, having great opportunities for transportation, for being able to get around the city, to be able to get to your doctor appointments, to be able to come downtown to do CPA. How many of you have seen Hamilton? Yeah. All right. So we want to make sure that those are things that we are not putting blocks up for legislation or for any of the other work that we do. So I also want to just do a shout out to two other legislators that are here, Representative Montine and Senator Aguilar, that are both in the audience as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's wonderful to see all of you here today. I am one of the founding co-chairs too, because our aging population has been something that has been of utmost concern to me since I served on my local city council for 7 years. We started seeing a lack of attainable, affordable housing for our seniors, and so they were forced to move out of our cities. We were seeing where they were having issues with transportation, having issues with having home health care people coming in, and having senior aunts and my grandmother, and seeing what difficulties some of them have had just makes me more empowered to want to work on senior issues and make sure that we are doing all that we can. So I have done volunteer work with Meals on Wheels. Right now, unfortunately, I don't have a ton of time to do volunteer work, but I'm very actively engaged with the seniors in my own communities, simply because the senior population, you all have added tremendous value, not only to your communities and to your families, but to Colorado as a whole, because many of you were business owners and or may still be business owners, but you've contributed a lot. And so the issues that are facing everyone as we age need to be still at the forefront. So I will continue to monitor and work on senior legislation, and I have been supportive on legislation that we've seen come through the past. I am Senator Beth Martinez-Shimenick from Adams County, and I represent almost all of Thornton, all of Northglenn, and about a third of Westminster, but I represent everyone in the state.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So now you know these people are all co-chairs of the Legislative Caucus on Aging. I would actually challenge you all. Please call your senator, your representative, and say, you know what? I want to be a part of that team. I want to be signed on to be supportive of aging issues here in Colorado. By the year 2030, we'll have more than 1 in 4 people will be over the age of 65. And preparing for those challenges will be absolutely critical. I wonder, do we want to offer the two, Senator Aguilar and...
Hey, thank you so much. You know, you never give a politician a microphone. How long you got? I'm kidding. So I'm State Senator Irene Aguilar. Unfortunately, I'm in my very last term in the Senate, and I'll be replaced in November. They won't do as good a job as I have done, I know that. But good news for you is that I'm very good friends with Representative Susan Lontine, and she lets me influence her, and so I'll be there nudging her in the back. And I want to thank all of you for your advocacy and your work. Many of you have educated me about things I did not know about. And my father, who is 95 years old, lives with me. And Dr. Kahn helped us get some services for him so we could keep him out of a nursing home. And he's a World War II veteran, so from someone in this audience, I learned about benefits for veterans from World War II. And your work has made a difference in my family's life by allowing us to afford to keep my father in my home. And I have a friend actually who's 75. She doesn't look 75. She's great. Anyway, she just had to move from her home to an apartment building because she had fallen in her home and realized, you know, she's single. Who's going to know about that? So I told her that if she lives longer than my dad, she could move to our house when my dad moves out. So, so I maybe started my own senior housing because it's so important for people to stay in their home, for the quality of your life. And frankly, I think you stay healthier when you're in your home. So thank you for all your advocacy and for everything you've taught me.
Politician, I don't know. Thank you so much for having us at lunch today and for your work on issues with seniors. Senator Aguilar was a hard act to follow, and as she's been down here longer, who knew she was going to take up stand-up comedy? But I don't know if I can follow that. I certainly will be looking to her for advice and help with work on healthcare issues that I've been working on since I started here and through her help. So I also want to recognize Representative Beckman for the work she's been doing in the area of dementia this year. And she's done a lot of work. I certainly look forward to all your input and guidance on issues affecting our senior population, which is growing, and certainly want to do whatever we can to support you and help folks stay in their homes and have a healthier life. So thank you all for being here.
Do we have any other representatives or legislators in the room? Anyone? Anyone? Anybody who wants to be a legislator in the room?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to two of our key lobby folks who are out there, all volunteer organization, Colorado Senior Lobby. And it really is something, the kind of work that they do. And I know Diane, we'll introduce Diane in a minute, but Diane was in the hearing until like 10:30 the other day. We're worried for her safety, for crying out loud, to try to get home. These two ladies have just really hit the ground running Colorado Senior Lobby. We're so proud, we rely on them so much. Please welcome Jeanette Hensley and Diane Robbins.
Now you're Thank you all for having us here and all of you to be here. It's just wonderful to see this room packed. And again, we apologize if we didn't have enough food for everyone. We definitely tried to, so hopefully nobody goes too hungry. So what Diane and I do is, and it's not just Diane and myself, we also have Ed Shackelford, Muriel, where's Muriel? Where is she? Can you raise your hand? Is she? And we also have Christina Johnson, Jarrett Hughes. Those are kind of our main group of what we call our Capitol Hill gang. And what we do is we're down there, we are lobbying or just really trying to educate on a variety of the different bills that are good for seniors or those that may not be quite so good for them. And so we go up and we testify. Now what we do is we also provide assistance and kind of a shadowing. If anybody is interested in doing this, they're more than welcome to help us, because believe me, we need it. Like I say, Diane and I are down there quite a bit, usually 2 to 3 days a week at least. And we try and get out of it reasonable hours, but that doesn't always work. But again, we are all volunteers. If anybody has a day, an hour, 2 hours, you're interested in the process, or you're interested in a specific bill, please contact us and we'll be happy to help you out and stuff. So I'm going to let Diane kind of talk about what she has done within the last couple of years.
Well, actually, I just moved to Colorado 3 years ago, and this is just my second year being a volunteer. And I moved from the East Coast to here, and trust me, they don't work anything like you guys. I never heard of Gallagher or Tabor or Colorado statutes, or it's like, oh my gosh, where do I begin? But I can tell you by just coming and watching and listening, and through the help of Jeanette and Ed, and I'll ask anybody a dumb question, I'm not afraid, because that's the only way you learn. So I learned last year, and hopefully this year I'm a little better at advocating. But I mainly talk about things in healthcare and things that might affect a renter if I know things on that particular subject. I don't believe in talking on something I don't know about. I have worked 50 years in medicine, so I have a pretty good idea what's out there, having worked in a lot of big hospitals, small hospitals, working with electronic medical records and things like that. So this year we had a lot of things for opioids, which are a big concern, and we had several bills on that, which we testified and sat through a lot of testimony on. And we had bills on renter rights, like do you get a copy of your application of your lease, and do you get a copy of your receipt for your money? I mean, how can you imagine paying for something and not getting a receipt from it? You get one when you go to 7-Eleven, or they ask you if you want it, and then you can put it in the trash. But those are just common everyday things. And when you talk about medicine, they're very complicated. Transparency, understanding how it works, all the different companies that are involved in it. So it can be very frustrating to the average consumer. And so what we're trying to do is make it easier and a little more transparent so you can figure it out. We also worked on freestanding emergency rooms and those urgent cares. They're a big problem because you don't realize what you're getting charged for. You're getting a facility fee that is for the hospital that they're connected with, not the facility fee for the actual freestanding urgent care or ER. A lot of times people go in, they think there's an urgent care, there isn't one. What do you do then? You know, these are the things that just common everyday things that you see, you do, might be in your life, might come up as a small problem, but it might be a big problem for somebody else. And we need your help. So don't hesitate to come down and just sit and watch us. You can Google, you can even drool, it's okay.
To give you a real quick scenario, what we're doing is we have so far this year, and we're only halfway through the legislative session, but we're following 73 different bills. Of those different bills, we have testified on at least 30 of them, some in both the House and in the Senate. So of the ones we're following, 9 of them have already been sent to the governor or are on their way to the governor to be signed. We've got 21 of them that have been PI'd or what's being postponed indefinitely or have been killed. And then we have 4 of them that when we meet every Monday morning, we go through a lot of the different bills. 4 of them that we started to follow, and then we decided they're not really senior issues and stuff. So, but what Diane was saying is that we really need people with all sorts of expertise and background. So if you have any sort of expertise, or you don't even have to be an expert, because a lot of this is just what's going on in your own life that you may be an expert on. But we really could use some additional help. And we do meet every Monday mornings, 9:30 to 11:30, but you can call in, go to the website, call in, and talk, you can hear what we're talking about. You can input And then when the legislature is out of session, we meet every other Monday. So before we get into a little bit more stuff, I think we were going to, I need to pass the microphone back to Steve. He's got some comments.
So how many people feel like we should get some transparency in drug prices? And I just would like to check out what would happen if we all knew what the price of drugs were, or what would happen if someone came in here and tried to rip everybody off with drugs. How would we know? Well, for 3 years, Representative Janal's been trying to get this bill through. Can we talk about it? You have some questions for her? Talk about any aspect of it? Go ahead, let's go.
Thank you. And before I get into that Drug Transparency Act, I want to thank Jeanette Hensley, Diane Robinson, Ed Shackelford, and I know there's a couple that I've missed, that do come to committee, that stay until 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And I just want to say thank you for your commitment to testify, either in support of a bill or in opposition. It really means a lot, and these gals work very hard, and guys. But anyways, let's give them another hand, please. They really do a fantastic job. And I just want to thank you for bringing up it's House Bill 1260. This is the third time that I'm bringing up drug pricing of prescription drugs, Transparency Act. And everywhere I go, if I go out and do a town hall, if I go out in Fort Collins anywhere, or even down here, I do get emails, I get phone calls, I get just people coming up to me saying, I bought a drug or I've been on a drug for Parkinson's disease, and I paid $30, and now I went to the drugstore to refill my prescription, and it's up to $120. And why is that happening? And I am asking the same question. And I think that no one should be surprised when you're on a fixed income of the price that you're going to pay for a drug that you need for your quality of life or just to live, period. We're finding that insulin has gone up in the last 10 years from $35 a vial to about $350 a vial, and sometimes you have to have 4 vials a month in order to stay alive if you have type 1 diabetes or even type 2 diabetes. How can you continue to afford these prices going up? This is what I'm trying to find out. And the bill that I'm bringing forth is going to look at this particular issue. Why are prices for, whether it's a brand name drug, whether it's a generic drug, because those prices are rising too, or whether it's a brand new drug called biologic, biosimilar, why are they going up in price so astronomically? What good is a medication if you can't afford it? If you have to go without food, or you have to rebudget, or you have to forego something that you really need as well. Medicine should be available for everybody at a reasonable price. So what this bill does is it requires 90 days advance public notice when drug prices are increasing. So you should know, either from your insurance companies or at your drugstore or however you're getting your prescription drugs, 90 days ahead of time that price is going up, so you're not going to go to the drugstore and be surprised. Drug companies will provide an explanation, which they haven't done before. Drug companies don't even want to get involved in any of these drug issues. But drug companies will provide an explanation on drug price increases that exceed 10% within a 2-year period of time. I think that's pretty reasonable, because when we look at the price of drugs and how they've gone up, it's really gone more than 10% each time. And insurers must report on drug spending. They're going to report on the top 25 of the most prescribed drugs. They're going to report on the top 25 generic drugs that have been prescribed, and brand name, as well as biologics. They're also going to tell us if there's any price increases within the year. Insurance companies. Because, you know, we're talking about increased prices and drug transparency. One of the reasons why your insurance premiums, and maybe talking Medicare and Medicaid, but also people on private insurance, they wonder why their premiums are going up 20 to 30%. A lot of it has to do with drugs and the price of pharmaceuticals. And so until we get to the bottom of it, just know why prices are rising, I think this is a first step in helping us to understand. Maybe there's a perfectly legitimate, good reason for the rising price of drugs. But just let us know ahead of time. That's all I'm asking. And I think it helps all of us. It helps everybody in our family. And I hope that I will have your support in regards to this very important issue. Because we can't take a drug, what good is it? And I've been in the pharmaceutical industry most of my life. I can tell you, being in clinical trials or being involved in clinical trials, new product development, that it's extremely, it is costly. But the prices that I'm finding, from thousands of dollars, $2,500 to $500,000, it's just unaffordable. And so where do we draw the line, and how can we all work together, pharmacies, insurance companies, as well as the Division of Insurance, to help make this right, so we can have more affordable drugs.
Comments from the audience, anyone? The mic right behind you.
I'm sorry. Have you ever heard of the Stop Price Gouging Act? I read about that, and it's for the prices of drug medications going up so high in price.
And if you hadn't heard of the Stop Price Gouging Act, yes, it just went through the House Health Insurance and Environment Committee. Representative Salazar brought forth a bill for price gouging, and it is set to be on second reading on the floor. I don't think it's been scheduled yet, but it did make it through our House committee. So we're on our way with that one.
Will they vote on it? Is that what is going to happen?
We will vote on it in the House, yes, and then it'll move on to the Senate. So, you know, the House has a really good chance of getting through, and hopefully it will go through the Senate as well, but one can only hope. So, yes, thank you for that.
Next question.
Does your bill, you mentioned biologicals, but you also include compounds?
No, it doesn't include compounding pharmacies. It's only prescription drugs that are from pharmaceutical companies that manufacture. They do need a prescription to get the compounded drug, but the compounded drugs aren't included in this bill. Okay.
Representative, I'm from Northeastern Colorado, and I served on the Colorado Commission on Aging for 8 years. This was a major topic when the commission went around the state. So right now, I'm on several boards in even Northeastern Colorado. I want to know what would be a good way to get the information on your bill out to the public in Northeastern Colorado in support of this, because it is badly needed, not only in one area, but all over the state. What is a good, simple reasoning to get this bill passed?
Well, I'm going to connect with you, give you a few names, and I think that, you know, we could have town halls on it. It might be a little late for the House side, but on the Senate side, we can do that. I'd be happy to come out. I know there are other organizations that are willing to talk to the public on this. So between that and putting something in the newspaper as an article, I guess I'm searching for more answers, but that's the way I think that we can get to the public. Excuse me? I'll come by. Any other questions? Yes.
So, Representative, how do the two acts, your act that you're trying to get through, excuse me, and the stop pricing gouging act, how do they intersect with each other? Or do they intersect? Or do they enhance? Or are they connected at all?
I'd like to say that they're, well, you know, Representative Salazar's bill, it hasn't got as much into the weeds as I do. So if you read it, it's only a page long. Mine's about 12 pages long, I think. But we go into reporting a different way, and than Representative Salazar is going through the Attorney General as far as reporting price gouging, and whereas what we're doing with the bill that I'm bringing forth is basically looking at transparency at the manufacturer's price and how it gets sold to the producer, the people who sell the drug. And first of all, it's the price tag that's put on that drug from the manufacturer. So it involves reporting to the insurance companies here in the state. And also the drug companies have to report. And they all report to the Division of Insurance. So that's the difference.
Okay, so yours is you want to find out, you want to study and make sure you expose what information is actually available about the pricing, and he just wants to catch bad guys.
Basically, if it's going to the Attorney General's office, I guess so. But see, two different routes for sure. And I believe that his price for price gouging is the percentage is a lot higher than 10%. I'm working on 10% or higher. I think, excuse me for not, if I miscalculate, I think if it goes over 50% or something to that effect. But it's involving two different entities, the Attorney General for the price gouging and the Division of Insurance for this 1260 bill.
Hello, I'm a member of the AARP, and I have United Healthcare, which is wonderful insurance, but I looked into the possibilities of getting an upgraded shingle shot, because it's been several years. And I went to my pharmacy, and they gave me the price of $168.04, and that takes 2 shots. I have to take that once, and then 6 months later, I have to take another shot, another $168.04. And I think this is outrageous.
And I thank you for that comment, and I'm hearing that a lot. And this is the type of input that I need. If you're experiencing issues on prescription drugs, just like this woman has here, and thank you for saying that, because this is the type of information that we need to have. If I don't get any input from you guys, I do, believe me, and people I need, but for you to write into me, for you to give me a call, my cell phone's on everything. That if you look up the Colorado General Assembly and you look me up, you not only get my office phone, you get my cell phone, you can leave a message, believe me, and an email. I've got a couple of emails, a state email and a Gmail account. Please tell me these issues.
Let me just jump the gun on that. Let me ask this entire audience, if any one of you has a real dramatic pharmaceutical pricing story, raise your hand. Okay, please take a moment, okay, because she needs to know. Not necessarily today, I'm just saying, if you have a real pricing deal, what happens is, those are the stories, it's your stories that help sell what Representative Janal's pitching.
Christina, back here.
Thank you very much for that. And I do have cards, so I'm going to leave them with Steve.
Yeah,
is that okay?
Yeah, right here.
And so please pick them up from Steve, and I welcome any of your comments.
Okay, let's go to Jeanette in the corner. Thank
Jeanette?
I would like to say that I'm 5 weeks out of rehab after being tied up in prison, and I called the rehab prison. For all almost 2.5 months. When I came out of there, I came out being told that I needed eloquence. I came out being told my discounted price was $1,304 a month. My paycheck is $1,500. Tell me how I'm supposed to live.
Thank you. This is what I'm talking about, folks. Thank you for your comment. And I'd like to talk to you as well, because no one can live like that. And as I said, we're on fixed incomes. And we've saved, most of us have saved a lot. We tried to anyway. And so what's eating it up? Let's not let the cost of prescription drugs eat it up, okay? I want everybody to be able to afford these things and also enjoy their senior years. So I just want to say thank you for listening. I will leave my cards with Steve on the table. I have a committee, a transportation committee that starts at 1:30, and I would like to continue this conversation for those of you who would like to do that, and I offer that. So your voices are what make these bills like this happen. It's your stories, and I mean that sincerely. And is it Jeanette up in the back? Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
I'm Jeanette.
Oh, I don't know what that lady had. What? Representative Joanne Janal. And was it Rita? Orita? Owita. Thank you for sharing. Thank you all for sharing. And I say that in a future text. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate you all. Thank you.
Can we just take 1 minute? You know, you heard all of us talking this morning about the volunteers in the morning, and they just come back and they did all of this. How about a round of applause? Oh yeah, Bob Brocker is the board member who is driving us all to improve our membership. There is a membership piece of paper in your bag. Please take a look. Remember, it's just anything that you can do for your consideration of Colorado Senior Levy to join and to be a part of what we're doing here. We appreciate that. The floor is open. Who has something to say?
Can I mention something real quick?
You bet. Jeanette.
I'm right up here.
Oh, yes. Hello.
Where I am, but that's okay.
I know where you are.
I am standing. Just as a quick thing, tomorrow we have 3 bills that are up, so if any of you are interested in it, starting at 1:30, we have the Diabetes Drug Pricing Transparency Act. That's at 1:30 in room 107, so it's down in the basement at the Capitol in the Health Insurance and Environment Committee. Then we also have in that same committee the Electronic Prescribing Controlled Substances. So this is kind of an add-on with the opioid ones. Currently they're making it more difficult to get the opioids and the narcotics. And so right now you have to take a hard copy prescription to your physician, or from your physician to the pharmacy. That's causing some problems for some people. So we also wanted to say that they should be able to still allow some electronic prescribing of that, so that you're not having to go to 2 different places for your medications. And then the third one that will be up tomorrow is false reporting of an emergency. And this is at 1:30 in Judiciary, which is in 112, again in the basement. And that one, for a real quick one, is I think you guys have heard about how some of these gamers, kids that play games or young adults, and they called 911 and said that somebody had a gun, and so when the police went to the door, the gentleman opened it and the individual was shot. So this is to be able to make that against the law to report false emergencies. So those are just some of the quick little bills that we're going to be doing tomorrow. If you ever want to catch any of us at Senior Lobby, we for sure are there anymore on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It used to be mornings, but now it's afternoons. But as the session starts going, we might go back to mornings. We might be there all day. And we are in the basement. That's where we kind of gather and kind of figure out who's going to which bills, because we often have many bills going on at the same time. So catch anybody with a Senior Lobby name tag, or if you're looking for around kind of lost, we might ask you. So,
thank you. The floor goes to Jayla Sanchez-Warren from Dr. Cobb, our Denver County area AAA.
I am so glad that you guys are here. You know, I've been in the field of aging for 30 years. And let me tell you, 30 years ago, we didn't have a bunch of legislators interested in aging. We didn't have a lot of people concerned and talking about how are we going to make our communities more livable, and how are we going to make sure that people can be engaged for their lifespan. People weren't talking like that, right? We talked about nursing homes pretty much, and that was kind of not too many options. We didn't even really have assisted living back then. But now things have changed. And let me tell you, there's really exciting things because people are getting more engaged. And the engagement, I get to see it in the region, is making a difference. So if you do come down and testify on one of these bills, it does make a difference. If you Senior Lobby has impact in making bills or getting legislation passed. There are many city councils that have senior advisory groups right now. So Aurora and Commerce City and Centennial and Arvada's thinking about starting one, and Denver Office on Aging has been around forever, right? And there's county councils on aging, but the counties that are the cities that have senior advisory committees, I see more movement than I do in other communities that don't. Let your voice be heard. You are the powerful demographic. You vote more, 91% voted in the last election of seniors. You have the power. Senior power, that's what you have. Let your voice be heard.
Let it be heard this year.
It's really important.
You have over half the Senate. You have the entire House up for election. Sorry to interrupt.
That's right. No. We want that enthusiasm,
This
right?
is the time to do it.
This is the time to do it. Because these issues are really important. And there's so many competing issues, yes, but aging, the aging of the population impacts every aspect of life. The way we design our communities, transportation, as you were talking about earlier, the workforce, tax base, everything we do, even how we build our open space, right? Do you all want to participate in that? Do you know that most pathways around the park don't allow electric vehicles? So if you have an electric wheelchair, you won't get to go on that pathway. Yeah, you didn't know that. Good job. So these are things that it's your quality of life. You have power. Use it. Please use it. Influence your local elected officials and your state officials and your federal officials. Let them know what you need, because they're not going to know it unless you tell them.
Again, I'm just going to remind you that we have the Legislative Caucus on Aging. Our next meeting is April 4th, 12 to 1, in the Capitol, SCR 357.
What's FCR stand for?
Senior.
Where is it?
Senate seniors. I've got senior in the brain. Right. Senate committee room. Senate committee room. Yeah, right. So 357. The topic is the homestead exemption. We talked a little bit about that this morning. Big topic, important issues. We'll have, again, experts talking about it, but a person who's actually thinking about doing some legislation and modifying or altering how it might appear. So having you there would be good. I like Jayla, encourage you to join the Colorado Senior Lobby. They are, in fact, the lobbying arm or wing of connected to the Strategic Action Planning Group on Aging, and your role would be critical. But I actually wanted to take at least a couple of minutes to ask you guys in the audience. Share with us some of your questions or some of your concerns. If anybody would be willing, we're going to kind of chronicle some of this stuff, if Steve doesn't mind me doing this. I'd like to know from you all, what do you see as some of the most pressing issues? What do you see as pressing issues for Colorado seniors today? And maybe even Colorado seniors into 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? Yes?
I had a district attorney tell me that they're not prosecuting people on elder abuse, even though we have the law.
I would be, well, now I'd also like Jeanette Hensley's perspective.
I can answer, I don't know that I have an answer. Last year, and I do reverse mortgages. Last year I referred 2 cases, one to Jefferson County, one to Arapahoe County. Both of those cases involved family abusing a senior. And because of the relationship of family, they were reluctant to move forward on those cases and did not. So we have laws on the books, but we're not taking, we have no teeth that requires a prosecution. So it's an issue.
But most of it is done by family members.
I know on that one that there is specifically, I've heard that there is one district attorney that is not wanting to prosecute. That doesn't mean that all of the counties are doing that. As you know, there is mandatory reporting for adults. And so those bills have been introduced in the last several years and have passed, and there's a lot more stricter laws on the books for that. But yeah, let us know and we'll make sure we get that back to those that we need to give it to. Sorry.
Steve has a quick comment and then we'll take that one.
No, that's fine, go ahead.
Okay. I also want to offer that, JLo with Dr. Cog, I know that I was a volunteer with the Area Agency on Aging. Once that law was passed, the volume increased dramatically. I mean, there was a huge increase, and really the state's been, I think, put things in place to really be able to accommodate responding and checking into things that might be considered abuse.
I'd like to talk just a minute about something that involves every single person in this room, I'm sure, and it's noise from motor vehicles. There's got to be something done. It's gone crazy. Just in the last 2 or 3 years, it's gone crazy. I would propose a bill that it's already against federal law to put it on a motor vehicle, a new motor vehicle. So what the dealers are doing, they're buying it and then reselling it, but in the meantime, altering the exhaust systems. Down the road, if people, like Butts Muffler or whatever, then it should be against the law to sell or to modify an exhaust system where it's over 85 decibels, whatever. And I don't know how it would be enforced.
Well, we could grandfather that into older cars. It's a joke.
No, I don't think so. Everybody. I don't know, it might involve every single police or peace officer in the state to have an audiometer and a 25-foot tape measure and measure, and require them if it sounds loud to them, pull them over, and if they get a ticket the first time, get rid of your exhaust system. The second time, maybe $50. Third time, $500. Fourth time, confiscate the vehicle. I think that would probably wake some of these kids with ABAR systems and stuff. It's gone crazy. I know that I had a loud muffler on my car when I was a kid, my 1944, but I took it off because they had it cheap because it drove me nuts. I don't know how they can stand and drive around with the damn thing. But I don't know if some research could be done perhaps to find a way of getting them off the street. Everybody gets a summons for one time or another maybe, but it says on the top, you have violated the peace and dignity of the people of the state of Colorado. Think about that. I mean, this is right down the alley, I think. Well, anyway.
Thank you. But and actually, that just goes to show you how broad the issues are. I mean, and we actually will be chronicling all of this information so that we actually have a record. There's somebody in the back there that has actually, yeah. Oh, sorry, didn't see it. Go ahead. And there are a couple people over here.
Thank you. Yes, my comment has to do with senior abuse, which we were just discussing a moment ago. I'm a caretaker for a 95-year-old person who has never smoked. But she has a son who enters her home, even though the home has placards all over it, please do not smoke. And this young son, not young, he's well along too, but he refuses to step outside, 2 steps even, to smoke outside whenever he visits there. So he's a chain smoker. And it is the foulest smell of all throughout her home. This is a health hazard. A tremendous health hazard. We know secondhand smoke is just as dangerous and deadly as the smoke that goes into the smoker's mouth himself. So is there any way that I can approach this young man? He's about 60 years old. But is there any way to approach these types of people? He refuses to step outside. He says, I can smoke where I want to smoke. And yet he's invading his mother's life and all the rest of us who ever visit that house. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that topic. Jeanette, do you have any comment on that?
The only thing is that somebody can do what they want in their own home, and if his mom wants him or allows him to do that and she doesn't speak up, it's very difficult for somebody else to come in and require him to do that, especially any state, local government, or nonprofit. She's going to have to tell him that she does not want the smoking. Once she says that, then yes, then people can come in and verify it to help her out with that, but not until she does that.
Yeah, thank you for that comment.
So I just wanted to bring up, for the city of Denver, we have an adult protective services through Denver Human Services. It's a phone number that you can call. I've had several calls where people have called me saying I'm being abused at this nursing home, or my child is abusing me, my son's taking my check, or whatever it is. If you call this number, they always have a police officer go out and investigate and write a report. And then in addition, there is a special victims unit in the that works with the DA's office and the police department in the city of Denver, and they each have over 100 cases. So we're seeing, just an increase in this kind of abuse, and they will go out and speak with them as well and do what they can do. But in your bags today, in your red bags, you received a book. It's called an Older Adult Resource Guide, and in that guide are some phone numbers that you can utilize to call on items just like this, on this abuse and neglect. But there's also another area of abuse, and it's the fraud and prevention of the financial side of it. And there's a woman in our DA's office, the special unit. Her name is Mara Kasparian, and she goes out to the communities and really does kind of educate everyone on different scams that are going on every single day, that new con artists are coming up with, as we speak. And so she's been doing a lot of outreach. She goes to a lot of assisted living places. She comes to our commission meetings, and she really does kind of tell you about the latest and greatest prevention methods of, how to help yourself or your parent or your neighbor from these abuses. So there's some resources out there, and if you check out this guide or give our office a call, we'll be happy to put you in the right hands.
Thank you. We have 2 more. Go ahead, Steve.
Go ahead, 2 more, and then we're going to give some things away.
Okay, good afternoon. I have a question about keeping seniors in their home. And proudly to say I am a senior. And it's about repairs. And I like to stay in my home, of course. But repairs, depending on what it is, it puts you out of your home more than what you can afford, especially if you own an older home. I have done DOOR, and I'm very grateful for DOOR. But there should be other programs out there, and I'm just looking for simple repairs like painting, which I can't afford to hire a painter.
Brothers
So what's out there?
Redevelopment. Called Brothers Redevelopment.
Brothers Redevelopment, okay, I'll try that.
Jayla, do you have more? Hang on just a second. Jayla from the Area Agency on Aging.
So there are a ton of resources. That's what you need to know. A ton of resources out there all across the state, the metropolitan area. You can dial 455-1000. Ready? 455-1000, and that's to Dr. Cock. And you ask for the Area Agency on Aging, and I have people on the phone all the time. You won't get a message that says, if you want transportation, dial 2. If you're interested in housing, dial 3. No, real life people. Kelly used to be one. Say hi, Kelly. And they will help you navigate all the resources that are out there. And so there are resources to help you build ramps and to do plumbing repair and to change light bulbs and all sorts of things. Call the Area Agency on Aging. The Boulder County Area Agency on Aging here is the Morgan County Area Agency on Aging is here. Pikes Peak is here. Pueblo's here. There you go. So there are 16 area agencies on aging across the state. Call your area agency on aging. They'll get you started.
Okay, and I guess we have one last one.
Sure, go ahead.
It seems like there's some unfairness going on. I think that seniors aren't getting hired by jobs, even if they have a lot of openings, because maybe they don't want to hire somebody who's getting close to retirement. And I think that needs to be addressed, because my brother has been looking for another job and unhappy with his job. And his bosses were asking him, and him and my sister applied on the internet for several years, and nobody's hired, but yet they say, we've got a bunch of openings, but I just don't think they're hiring people when they get to a certain age.
Anyone here wants to address workforce development? That's a workforce development, it's discrimination possibly, but anyone? And where would someone go, Jayla? Where would someone go if feel like they're being discriminated because of age?
Office of Civil Rights. The Office of Civil Rights, actually there is a bill to eliminate that. The Commission and also the Office of Civil Rights. So that has also been another bill that we have testified on. Because we think it's pretty important for them to continue that one. So now we're going to do some drawings.
We're going to do some drawing. What? Shoot.
I have a comment, a true story to share with you.
Okay.
We hear a lot of bad things, but there's some good things happening in Colorado also. I live in Aurora, Colorado, and I had the fortune of attending a 100-year-old lady's birthday party on Sunday. The person who initiated that party was Officer Seneca. He worked in the Aurora Police Department. Thank you, he is. With the Aurora Police Department, he was doing his rounds one evening, and he went by this 100, she was 99 last year. He went by her house to check on her. She says, do you know what today is? He said, no. She said, it's my birthday. He says, okay, happy birthday. And she began to shake, she's a little bitty petite thing. She began to shake her finger in his face. And she says, don't you ever forget my birthday again. He said, well, I didn't know it, but I won't forget it for next year. She said, well, you make sure you don't. This year, she turned 100. Not only did Officer Seneca not forget, it's kind of hard to tell the story without not crying. He not only went over to her house, he arranged for that whole community, different businesses, restaurants, to give a big 100-year-old birthday party for this 100-year-old senior. It was well attended. There are officers. The police department is doing good things. I want you to know that everybody is not neglecting their duties. Everybody does not care for our seniors. And I just want you to know there's some that should be recognized. And we're going to recognize the centenarian on the 30th of June at our Sisters Enterprise Random Act of Kindness program. If you want more information, I'll give it to you. But there's some good people out there. The police department is protecting our seniors.
What a great way to end, huh?
All right, everybody, we're going to give away 4 different prizes. Ronald, will you come up, please? Ronald will do the drawing. We've never met. CJ, you're on.
So what we're going to do, okay, you're fine. So if you have a gift, because we have 4 gifts, so if you have a gift, can you raise your hand for us? Okay, so we've got 1 here. I've got 1 here, so 2, 3. Okay, so then my bag would be the 4th. Okay, so the first number is, get your tickets out, everybody. So the first gift, let's give away, how about the floral arrangement? Is that the, how about that one? How about that one? Okay. All right, so I'm going to call the last 4 numbers. 1070. 10. All right, yay! So the.
Can you tell us who this is from? Yes, I'm here, Cynthia Wadley with Colorado Consumer Health Initiative and Benefits in Action. We just recently got a grant from the Next 50 Foundation to start a new program on direct consumer assistance for seniors age 50 to 65 for a Colorado Consumer Health Initiative to help them with their health insurance navigation. So anytime they're getting an out-of-network bill or they're going to a freestanding ER, getting these out of the world prices for their bills, and we can help them navigate how to manage that and get some help with that. And with Benefits in Action, we can actually refer clients over to get them signed up with Medicaid and Medicare. So excited for this new partnership and so thankful for the Next 50 Foundation.
Great.
So the next number, so raise your hand, the sponsors who had the gifts. So could I just get one of you to be prepared to come up now? And we'll do the same thing, tell us who your organization is. Okay, so the next winning number is 1232. 1232. No, yes. Kelly? All right, thank you. All right. All legitimate. And you guys, before you leave here today, please make sure you go in your bag and pull out the information about joining Colorado Senior Lobby. When we think about it, when we talk about all the ways that we can make some of these action steps happen, one of the easiest ways is to join Colorado Senior Lobby. That is going to be one of the easiest ways that we can combat some of the issues that you've heard about here today. So please, ma'am, please, sir, before you leave here today, go into your red bag and pull out your information concerning membership for Colorado Senior Lobby. Can you do that for me, please, ma'am? Please, sir? Yes? All right.
Yes, my name is Debbie Watson. I'm with Primetime for Seniors newspaper. My husband Bill and myself are the owners, and we are a monthly free publication in the greater Denver area, and we're out there to get important information out to our senior community and their families. And if you have a story, we would love to tell it, and I would love to get the story that woman over there just told about the cause. But thank you for this day. Thank you. And for all that you do, and all the volunteers.
All right, now this next number, so the next sponsor, you can come up and be involved. We have your gift also. But if I could get the young lady who's coming up right now, and we'll do Bob, we'll do your last word for you. All right, the next winning number is 1173. 1173. 1173. Going once, going twice. All right. Must be present to win.
the sound of my voice. The next winning number, 1089. 1089. Raise it high. All right, we have a winner in the bag. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Terry Bell with Bright Health Insurance. I've lived in Colorado the last 2 years. And I've been in the Medicare health insurance industry for 18 years here in Colorado. So if you have any questions or need some myths dispelled, I'm the gal. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and our last and certainly not least, 1095. Oh, and we have a winner at the same table. And Bob, if you could tell us about, yes.
Okay, good afternoon. Besides being the chair of the Colorado Senior Lobby, I'm also a member of the Colorado Advisory Council of Persons with Disabilities. And the Disability Council is one of monitors all disability programs throughout the community, and we're also responsible for revising the bills for disability parking.
Bob held, one meeting Bob held.
One meeting? Okay. This bag is from the Disability Council. It has a lot of goodies in there and promotional items for the Disability Council. So good luck to you on your winning. And you all have a great afternoon. I hope you enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are wrapping up our event. We can't thank you enough for coming. Let me please urge you all, it's $25. Join Senior Lobby, and remember, it's only a matter of time before issues come up where seniors will be debating with seniors. Let's mind our manners. Have a good day.